Frankie Teardrop, 20-year-old Frankie.
Hey folks, what's going on? John Coffey here doing a movie review. Just caught this on Netflix. An amazing documentary, a very powerful documentary. This one is a Snuff, a documentary about killing on camera. And the title sums up what this movie's about. It's about snuff films, whether they exist, if anyone's ever seen them, some misconceptions of snuff. And the film is broke down into 6 chapters. You got the first chapter is what is a snuff film. Second chapter is Americans, cinema, and snuff, which is talking about movies and how movies have used snuff to advertise. Then you have Mark's Story Part 1, which I'll get to later. Then you have serial killers and snuff, war and snuff, and Mark's Story Part 2, which I said I'll get to that at the end. Very interesting documentary. Intrigued me from beginning to end, as well as just making me really think real hard. The movie seems to try to suggest that snuff isn't real by using the definition that snuff is a film that is a murder that was made to make money. So stuff like Faces of Death, Traces of Death, Monocane, stuff like that can't be considered snuff, even though it has death in it, because it was just stuff caught on camera. It wasn't a murder. And then the serial killer stuff and the war stuff is just a murder caught on camera. It wasn't made to make money. But it also shows both sides of the story, so you can have your own opinion of what snuff is. They get a good panel of people discuss it. A lot of people I've never heard of, but they really get into. I got something wrong. Sorry, guys. They really get into. Sorry, my phone went off. Now I lost my train of thought. They really get into both sides of the point. Is this snuff? Is this not snuff? Does snuff even exist? If it does exist, where is it? And they show a lot of cool clips from movies. That a lot of things went in, like Cannibal Holocaust, Flower of Flesh and Blood is in it. There's a couple people that are slightly annoying, a little too into what they're talking about, I think. But that's to be expected in a documentary. Not every panel person in a documentary is going to be spectacular. But even the one who's the most annoying, in my opinion, still gives very valid points and does a great job. It's well directed, always carries this tone, a very creepy tone to it, because the subject matter is disturbing, to say the least. Now I'm getting into the most powerful and epic point of the documentary. There's a man in it by the name of Mark Rosen. He was part of Bronson Pictures back in the day. If you don't know Bronson's Pictures was the company that Tobe Hooper sold the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre to. And they were always believed that they were run by the mafia. So the man has some experience. They were also an adult film company. They handled a lot of porn back in the 70s. He tells 2 stories in the documentary. One about a Russian and one about his own experience. And I'm not going to give them away because I really want you to watch this. But those 2 stories are not only powerful but very disturbing. They don't have to show anything to make this how powerful and disturbing these stories hit me hard, hit me right here. I was well freaked out by these stories. That's the best thing I can say about the documentary. They do a great job of not stating their own opinion, but let people do it, and it really affecting you. It's amazing. I think it's one of the best documentaries I've seen, especially in a very long time. I would compare it to something like graphic sexual horror. Something like that, yeah. I think it's a good comparison. This came out in 2007. I don't think it's readily available on DVD. I'm not even sure if it ever really got a DVD release, but you can see it if you have Netflix. You can see it on their instant stream, which is where I saw it at. Now I have to make one complaint with this movie. Although it's kind of like a shame on me kind of thing, because I should have expected it. I am not a fan of real death. I don't watch internet videos. I don't watch the Faces of Death stuff. I don't like real death. I won't watch it. And I feel that they did a good job through most of the documentary of showing you enough, but not showing you everything. You know, they'll show like some serial killer tapes, but they won't take it so far to show the death part. They just show, you know, the setup, the build up. That's all you need to see, because that's in its own right extremely disturbing. But when they get to the war and snuff part, they show not the whole video, but they show most of a beheading video, which I don't think was needed. I think you could just show that guy sitting there with the Iraqis behind him, and that would have been plenty. And they also show a sniper video, the infamous Juba sniper video, where he was sniping out Americans. And they show the torture at like Guantanamo Bay and Abu. I didn't feel it was needed. I think you could have got by without showing it. I feel that was just being exploitive. Be like, oh, you want to see something shocking? Here you go. I didn't necessarily like that. So if you're not into, if real death is something that you just absolutely don't want to see, and you just avoid at all costs, I have to say skip this documentary. But if you feel you can handle it, and you want to see something that is just a fantastic documentary, or you can even skip the war stuff part, you can move on. You can, because the last chapter is better anyways. I mean, not saying the war and snuff chapter is very interesting. They talk a lot of very valid points. Yeah, this documentary is fantastic. Like I said, you can check it out on Netflix. You can pay $10 a month and get to watch that documentary, and it's well worth it. I looked up because I was interested in buying the DVD, and on Amazon there's only one, and it's used, and it's going for like $33. So this is probably the only way you're going to get to see it for a while. I don't know how much distribution it ever got, but it's a good documentary. It's well worth checking out. I highly recommend it. Snuff, a documentary about killing on camera. One of the best parts is they show, if you've ever heard the movie Snuff, it was a film that was already made, and they knew it was a piece of junk. So at the very end, they tacked on this fake ending where they kill one of the actresses on camera, and it's retarded and hilarious. He's like, oh, that was a really gory scene. It turned me on. You want to get in bed and turn on and turn each other on? It's oh, you've got to see it. It's so funny. But documentary, like I said, good documentary. Mark Rosen's stories are the highlight of the documentary. Definitely. Anytime he's on camera, he just automatically just grabs your attention. Like, I've got to listen to this guy. And what he says is just brilliant. So check it out. Snuff, a documentary about killing on camera. And come back and check me out. Have fun, guys.